In this video, we'll show you how to get started using Polarion's integrated wiki. We'll cover the basics of creating spaces and pages, creating links to other wiki pages and to web URLs, and we'll look briefly at using macros to create live report pages. Your entry point into the wiki is the Documents and Wiki topic in navigation. Expand it and you see all of the spaces in your current scope. Spaces are a bit like folders, and you can use them to group related content. Unlike folders, there's no tree hierarchy, just one level. We're looking at the spaces in a project, but you can have spaces in the repository scope as well. That's a good place to put guidelines or any other info intended for all portal users. If there are many pages, you can use the search field at the top to locate pages. You can see our video on searching the portal for more on that subject. Clicking on Documents and Wiki takes you to the main page for this area of the portal. Like all pages, it's completely editable, so what you see for your project may be different from our demo project here. What will be consistent is this Create button. This is where you can create a new space, a new wiki page, or a new LiveDoc document. LiveDocs, by the way, are actually just a special kind of wiki page. We have a series of videos on working with them, so we'll skip them here and just concentrate on wiki spaces and pages. You can browse in navigation to locate pages. If you know the page you want is in a particular space, you can expand the space name in navigation and look at its index page. An index page lists all pages and documents in a selected space. This specification space in our sample project contains both types of content. The index page toolbar is important for creating and managing content in the current space. You'll find actions here to create a new page, delete one or more selected pages, or delete the entire space. Once you find the page you want in the index, just click its name to open it. Let's look at how to create a new space. You can do this from two places: the main Documents and Wiki page using the Create button, or from any wiki page. Click Expand Tools and go to the Actions menu. Creating a new space is simply a matter of supplying a name. You can use spaces in the name, but you should avoid using any special characters other than dash or underscore. Creating a new space creates a space homepage with default content, which you can then modify however you want. We'll talk more about editing pages a bit later on. Let's look now at creating new pages. You can create new wiki pages from several places: the main Documents and Wiki homepage, any Spaces homepage, any Spaces index page, or from any wiki page. Regardless of where you invoke the action, you see this dialog. You give your page a name that's unique within the space where it will live, and again avoid special characters. Then select the space. The space where you're currently working is the default selection, but you can create the new page in any existing space. So let's create this page in the current space. The new page opens in the Wiki Markup editor, which brings us to the subject of editing wiki pages. Because most users only read wiki content, we've put access to the editor out of their way behind this Expand Tools button. Click that and you see the toolbar with the Edit button, which opens the page in the Wiki Markup editor. The wiki is very powerful and there's a lot you can do with it, so we're just going to touch on some basic things you need to know to get started. Polarion integrates the open source XWiki and uses its markup syntax. Let's do a simple page heading, page 1, and simple body text, hello world. This preview button shows how the page will look to other users after we save it. In preview, we can save or go back to the editor. Over here on the right is a guide to the wiki markup syntax. It's divided into several categories, and you can refer to syntax and examples right here in the Wiki Markup editor. You can open this link in a new tab to see the entire syntax help in a wider view. In addition to Wiki Markup, you can do some basic HTML things like styled divs or spans. The default Wiki Markup editor isn't your only editing option. For simple pages that don't need scripting or macros, you may prefer the rich text editor. As you can see, it's pretty straightforward and word processor-like. Preview is also available here, although with the WYSIWYG presentation, you won't see much difference. There's a little trick you can do with wiki content that many people miss. You can create a work item from any text you select in a wiki page. This can be useful if you've used a page for preliminary collaboration on the wording of, say, requirements, and now you want to capture them as trackable, manageable artifacts in a specification document or the tracker. Just select the text of the work item and click Extract Work Item. You can then specify what type of item, which project, and whether to create the artifact in a document or in the tracker. An important wiki feature is linking to other content. You can link to other pages and documents in your Polarion portal, or to external web pages. Linking to a web page is super simple. Just type or paste a URL. Here's a pretty good one. You don't need any markup at all. If you go to Preview, we can see the URL is clickable. To show users some link text rather than the URL, enclose the URL in square brackets, then prepend some link text followed by a right angle bracket. Go to Preview, and the link now shows up as text. You can make this kind of link in the rich text editor as well. Suppose you want to link to another page in this space. Start with the square brackets and type the page name. Let's go to Preview. Notice that Polarion adds the space name to the link. Going back to Edit, we can use the same technique as for web URLs. Put in some link text, and then go to Preview, where we see that the link text is there instead of the space plus page name. You can easily link to a page in a different space. Just specify the space name dot page name. We of course haven't touched images, text formatting, lists, tables, and so forth, but you can consult the syntax help or use the rich text editor. Let's finish up with a brief look at one of Polarion Wiki's most unique and powerful features, macros. Polarion's wiki integrates velocity macros, which enable the technical and programmer types in your crew to create dynamic report pages with live portal data. Here's an example of such a page that's included with our eLibrary sample project. If we peek into the page markup, you can see that there's some pretty advanced coding going on. It's quite far beyond the scope of this tutorial. For the moment, you should just know that this power and depth is there and available to your team. For now, let's look at something simpler. Let's quickly change our Hello World example to greet whoever views the page by name. The user macro with the @current parameter and the long display attribute will do that in a jiffy. Let's go now to Preview, and you can see there's the current user greeted by name. Now that's admittedly trivial, but it's almost as easy to create something that's actually useful. A major workhorse is the work items macro. For example, I can use that to show a list of all the items created by the current user. Here's the preview. You can show just about any type of work item data you want. Blocker or critical items assigned to the user, open items for the current milestone. The possibilities are almost endless. We recommend that you check out the syntax help for macros and some of the examples provided in the sample project as you get more into dynamic wiki pages. Hopefully now you can get started creating some content on your own Polarion wiki. Your feedback is always welcome, either on this video's page on our website or by email at info@polarion.com.